we went ahead and got the CPU heat sink or cooler installed, and also all the memory is fully populated, as you can see here. For now, I went ahead and chose just the two fan connectors over here on the side. I'm going to go through a setup process and see if I can relate those to the actual CPU and try to figure that out a little bit. So some tips on this heatsink. I've talked about this particular heatsink before. This is an Octawar heatsink for the 3647. One thing to do is don't install your RAM first. Install that last, because what you can see is there's a bolt or a nut right down here, and as you're tightening it down, you can actually see about how far away it is from the bottom. So you can actually see you don't want to over tighten this heatsink. If you do, it's going to put extreme amount of pressure on the processor, something you don't want to do. You just want to get it snug. These two here, there's one here on this corner and one on this back corner over here. Those will bottom out. Those are the two you do first. And then you do these cross nuts, which is one is right there and there's one right on the other side. So I would do those first. You know, with the RAM slots not in, you can actually see where the nut is as it's going down onto the bolt there and tightening up. Just don't over tighten them. But I've also put in the NVMe, and now at this point we're ready to power on this board and get a good look at it. All right, so we got it all bolted into the Phanteks case. It bolted in really nice and easy. Couple things to keep track of. So one, you're probably used to having some bolts here and here, and this one here that I have to put in, right? But in some cases, they actually have one here and here, which there's no hole, right? Also, this hole up here, which is a little hard to see. It's right in between these, the power adapter there, just to the left, that yellow tag there, right? That one's offset. Typically, it's more about where the RAM is, which is about in this area is where that post goes. So make sure you get your posts right before you screw this in and you hit all your holes. I'll go back and tighten this down. Now, the trick on these things is don't over tighten them. This isn't a 68 Chevy, right? You don't need to crank it down. You just need it to be snug so that the screw or the bolt doesn't come out. So we'll get the power hooked up and then we'll get this bad boy fired up.